you are anything like me, you'd probably have a lot of things you want to do. Multiple projects, multiple desires, multiple wants. Developing a habit that makes you progress towards your goals, like a habit of going to the gym for a fitness goal or a habit of studying for an academic goal, is a brilliant move. Habits and consistency are your key for exponential growth. And one tool that can help you build habits are called habit trackers. These are systematic methods for recording whether or not you perform a specific behavior. Or in other words, a record listing the amount of times you showed up in a given time frame. Habit trackers may affect you in different ways that amplifies your productivity. And I think the best effect that habit tracking could do is that it reinforces a habit. You can even use this inversely to discourage an unwanted habit by giving you a sense of satisfaction by staying away from the said habit. More on that later. So, how does habit tracking work? And how does it actually help you? Okay, so habit tracking primarily targets the last stage of the habit cycle, called reward. For context, a habit cycle from James Clear's book called Atomic Habits have four stages: the cue, craving, response, and reward. To further understand this, here are some examples. Say that your friend Thomas have a smoking addiction. He sees a cigarette, which is the cue, and after a few seconds he starts to having an urge to smoke, which is the craving. And then he finally takes that cigarette and smokes it, which is the response stage. After all of this, he will experience a high or a surge of dopamine from smoking, making him want to do it again, which, you guessed it, is the reward stage. So back to habit tracking. You may want to be fit or to go to the gym consistently. So you take a piece of paper and write 30 boxes representing 30 days. And you take a box every time you show up to the gym to work out. After a day, the effect of the tracker isn't much, but by day 7, you'll see 7 boxes giving you a slight wow reaction. By day 10, you'll see that you have completed 33% of the 30-day habit tracker already. Good job, bro. And now, you would want to keep on going. I hope you see how it works. Because habit tracking gives visual representation of your discipline and hard work. Sometimes it represents progress. Now, just like any other good fulfilling habit, there is naturally a dopamine reward upon engaging on that good habit. Working out gives you a dopamine hit after the workout, naturally, meaning that there is already something that fulfills the reward stage of the habit loop. My point is that habit tracking is not that one productivity tool that makes the reward stage or transforms you to a productivity god upon using it. It is a reinforcing tool on top of the natural habit itself. A reinforcing tool that reinforces something that is already there. If there's nothing there, then there's nothing to reinforce. So here are some more examples. So if you have an academic goal, say better grades, then studying once will not get you there. Maybe even studying consistently for a month won't get you there. The rewards and goals you seek takes time. And it might get demotivating not seeing results in the earlier stages of the grind. That's why in those early days, habit tracking may be the remedy that satisfies your need for instant results. Studying or working out for a month and still getting no visible results is discouraging. But having a habit tracker on the side can make things less discouraging, or at best, turn that demotivating moment to an encouraging moment. For more examples, let us stop this Minecraft footage for now and go back to the realistic realm. Okay, so here's another example of my habit tracker. As you can see here, there is some dates here, and at the top, the habits that I want to track. So here, you can see the check X. It's more of like a streak system that if I showed up that day or if I succeed that day, then I will put a check here, and if not, I will put X. So as you can see here, in this time period, I am doing very good and I have a good streak that was broken around here on May 15th. And I also am tracking habits like video game hours like this one and word count for writing like this one. So as you can see, my word count is not really good. I've been inactive on the writing project, and for the video game hours, I am very kind of like skyrocketing in that period. So in this case, video games are actually kind of like a bad habit for me, even though I am using Minecraft for the background, but most of the time it's not really serving me well. So I am here tracking a bad habit for me at least, and if I see a lot of numbers here, then that's going to be reminding me of the potential time that I could have spent in other areas or other projects instead. So yeah, higher numbers here are bad, but higher numbers here are good. What you can also do is to digitalize one of your habits in a software like this. Like I'm using TrackBear, it's used for writing, but here I'm also using it to track other habits. So as you can see here, back to gaming hours, this is the bad habit that I would not want to be engaging with most of the time. Maybe I will play video games to record the Minecraft footage, and then that's it. That's it. So here we can see this is actually a total type of graph. What I mean by that is if here we played for if in the first day we played for 0 hours and in the second day we played for 1 hour, that will add to the total of 1 hour. Wait, I don't know if you guys can see that. Oh, there we go. So it will add the total of 1 hour. And if I played the next day for another hour, it will add to the previous total. And this is the total time that I've been playing and it showed the rise. And for this kind of thing where I track a bad habit, I would not want this to rise. What I want to see is more of a plateau because it adds zero to the total. But yeah, there are also other softwares you can use in the internet, which is actually maybe better, but this is what the one I prefer. And yeah, this is a example of tracking a bad habit, but we can also track a good habit like this one. This is my writing project, and this is more of word counts instead of time. And if you, as you can see here, it if it rises, then it is good for me. If it plateaus, then it is bad. Quite the opposite of the bad habit. So as you can see here, there is a great plateau, and this is actually those amount of zeros which results to a plateau. So why do we do this? This is for visual reinforcement. If it's a good habit and it's been rising like this, then you're going to be more motivated and see yourself that you are actually putting in the work and being consistent and that you are kind of doing better. But yeah, that's the thing for visual reinforcement. And this one, in this case, it's a bad habit. So the more it rises, the more I get reminded that I could have done something better. So this has been going on for like a few months now, from March to May. And this is not good. As you can see here, I have 141 hours and 17 minutes spent on gaming total for the past around 2 months or so. In those same hours, I could have used that in something else, in producing better quality, or in learning other stuff, or in progressing in my other projects. And yeah, so this is more like a visual reinforcement, or more likely a visual reminder. So if it's a positive habit, visual reinforcement, bad habit, or a habit that you don't want to continue or you want to minimize, then it is a visual reminder. So yeah, this is my example of my habit trackers. Now let's go back to the Minecraft footage. Habit reinforcement through targeting the reward stage is not the only way it helps you. For some of us, it can also contribute to developing an identity. Going to the gym for 6 months will make you start thinking of yourself as a person who works out like normally. And working out becomes this part of your normal routine or it becomes a normal part of your life. Consistency alone builds a new identity already. And add a beautiful habit tracker on top of that, and that identity solidifies further. It sounds so funny, but it's basically seeing pages of ticked boxes and start feeling accomplished afterwards. Who knows? Maybe there is a person out there that is suffering from a physical health condition. To him slash her, that 30 tick boxes on their gym that they work hard for may be one thing that pushes them to keep on going. It may be the one thing that prevents them from quitting. And we all know, as long as you don't quit, you'll get there. So, dear viewer, you already know what actions to take for that certain goal of yours. You just have to do that action multiple times, enough times to succeed and achieve your goals. Track them and make a habit tracker. Another emotional extra of keeping habit tracker is the feeling of being in a narrative. This happens when your habit tracker are not purely made out of boxes. For example, instead of a box for gym, you may go log the number of push-ups for every push-up day of your workout routine instead. This creates a narrative by capturing your growth throughout time. Seeing your push-up count rise in numbers as time moves gives you a sense of growth and achievement while at the same time receiving the other effects that we have mentioned like identity and reinforcement. Throughout the video, I have been using fitness and gym and working out as examples, but habit trackers can be applied to almost, no, actually, to anything. It can be applied to anything, whether it's academics, business, or whether it's academics, business, and anything else actually. And also, habit tracking doesn't have to be about ticking boxes. It can be a metric, a number, just like that push up count we mentioned earlier. Or it can just be shading something, or I don't know. You can really get really creative with habit trackers. And bro, even the crossing out of days in calendars, that people used to do before technology, is a form of habit tracking. Maybe not necessarily habit, but it is tracking. And it's almost the same concept. Habit tracking is the tool that you would want. It works wonders, especially on isolated seasons of focus towards a project where it's just you working and you may find no feedback. Habit tracking can be that one thing that keeps you motivated outside, the usual motivations and stuff. I don't know, it just keeps you motivated. It reinforces a habit, making habit development more inevitable. A habit makes consistency of an action the norm. And this is the factor for exponential growth. Consistency also builds identity, and habit trackers solidifies that identity further, making you more consistent and just overall increases the inevitability of success. Of course, there will be failures in the way, but as said, as long as you keep trying and living, then your journey has not ended. But then again, we have to take in the nuances. Habit tracking alone won't make you successful, but it does help you succeed. If you are a medieval knight, habit tracking is your lunch, not your sword. I don't know if that makes sense, but yes, hopefully you get it. Anyways, give habit tracking a shot. In a few weeks or months, come back to this video and share your thoughts. If this concept intrigued you just a little bit and you're wanting to try it, then I urge you to make a small habit tracker after this video ends. Application of new learned knowledge usually makes that knowledge stick longer and better. So, dear viewer, grab a piece of paper and pen and think of one habit that you want to develop and write a number of certain boxes for a certain amount of days. And if metrics are possible, numbers and stuff, then write those numbers beside the box of a given day. Stay creative and have fun with it. And stay consistent, folks. And I think that's all for today. As always, God bless and Godspeed. Bye.